Welcome, everyone. Today, I'm going to discuss how to use your creativity to deal with life's daily challenges. And for my presentation, I've included a lot of great artwork to accompany the talk. So I'm going to begin the slideshow now. What I love most about our order is that ordinary people come together, people completely enmeshed in the complexities of daily life, and they donate their time, their money, and their talents to sustain an international spiritual organization. These ordinary people have achieved something extraordinary by coming together around a common goal. And it's no small goal either. We come together for the evolution of human consciousness. We are here today because of the members who came before us. They kept us in mind in their creative visualizations and their daily actions that sustain the order. Now it's our turn, not only to practice for ourselves, but for those in the future who come seeking the greater light. We must ensure that these buildings, like this beautiful building here in San Jose, and the teachings are around. And most importantly, that there are members who have realized and actualized the teachings. How are you using your powers to make the world a more beautiful place? Not just now, but for future generations. Here's a beautiful photo of the Supreme Officers and delegates from all the states attending the National Convention of AMARC in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, back in 1917. And in front of them is the founding document. It's a very beautiful work of art. So you see, these ordinary people have extraordinary capacities latent within them. These are their creative powers. Creativity is the capacity of your mind to imagine, to change, to synthesize, to create. Everyone is creative to a greater or lesser degree, but few have a solid understanding of how these powers work and how to apply them effectively to dealing with life's challenges. Creativity offers an active stance towards your day that is positive, life affirming, courageous, and joyful. I don't want to turn my spiritual practice into suffering, into practicing pain. I'm practicing positivity, joy, courageousness. This is a French academic painting called The Wrath of the Medusa by Géricault. As we all know, we live in a complex time full of uncertainties. There is a relentless battle to harvest our attention, our thoughts, our emotions, and our creative energies, the energies of our imaginations, to further certain ends other than our own. The various ads, TV, social media, political media are all subconsciously prompting us to think, to feel, and to act in certain ways. When someone is selling to you, they fill your eyes with images of desire. And when elections are around the corner, they fill you with images of fear. More and more, the world is giving into pessimism, doom, materialism, cynicism, nihilism, and many other destructive mindsets. And indeed, we are living through and witnessing truly distressing events. And we must go through these times while maintaining our responsibilities to ourselves, to our families, to our jobs, to our communities, to our spiritual and religious organizations. It is a challenging time. The world's power systems are changing. It has left many of us feeling lost, feeling anxious, feeling uncertain of how to act. Times like these are why we practice. And times like these are advantageous to us practitioners because we can actualize our spiritual potentials. It is not enough to think of ourselves as spiritual, or to talk about spirituality, or to listen to spiritual podcasts. We must act and actualize these potentials within us for our benefit and evolution, and for the benefit of all other beings, visible and invisible. This is a painting of Hercules and the Hydra by Moreau. It was in a exhibition at the Guggenheim here about Rosicrucian art. So, in ancient times, we see the gods were loved for their essence and their powers. But in the world of humanity, humans were beloved and even deified because of their actions. The godlike humans are the heroes, and they are heroes because of the actions they took in hard times. We live in a realm of action, and our actions here define what our lives ultimately meant. This is a section of a beautiful fresco by Masaccio, The Banishment of Adam and Eve. Many people come to spirituality as a magical escape from their responsibilities and challenges. But this is just cowardice. It's a vice that allows our bad habits and bad attitudes to fester. So many times we run away from what life has presented us. We don't want to deal with it. And here we miss the opportunities we incarnated for. We miss the opportunities we incarnated for. Most people I've met in the order believe in reincarnation. And that means at some level you chose this life or resonated with it. And you wanted these challenges. So what we value now and what we think is important now while we're incarnated is probably not what we value when we're in the invisible. A beautiful painting by Caspar David Friedrich. One of the senior members of our order, Julian, gave a wonderful class. I've heard all of his classes, and this one was my favorite. It's called Life as the Spiritual Teacher. And when I initially went to it, I thought he was going to talk about his life as a spiritual teacher, but no, he was discussing your life. The events, the mundane circumstances of your life are the real spiritual teacher. This was such a profound perspective for me. And I love it because it brings our spiritual practice out of our cozy home sanctums and into the riffraff of daily life. Yes, the circumstances of your life, even the mundane and boring ones, are a conversation with the real spiritual teacher, the master within. To me, that's real esotericism. What's going on inside of you, your personal inner experiences and insights, your daily life as your spiritual teacher makes us reflect on our lives in a whole new way that is positive and life affirming. No matter what's coming to me, it's my conversation with the Master within. It's for my evolution of my consciousness. It's for the development of my character. I can deal with it. And when those challenges come throughout the day, I ask the Master within, what do you want me to learn from this situation? What is being revealed to me by this situation? And most importantly, reflect on how you are using your creative energies to make decisions. Watch closely your thoughts, your speech, and your actions. Are they serving this master within, the spiritual ideal at every moment? Can we carry that ideal throughout the entire day without forgetting it? Are your thoughts, words, and actions in alignment with your spiritual ideal? This type of reflection can be difficult, but how else are we supposed to make progress on the path of return? Another beautiful painting. This is called The Altar of the Soul by Rosicrucian. If it's true that our daily life is our spiritual teacher, the master within, you can see if we consider the constant challenges of our lives, this master has a different agenda from our own. The master, through the challenges of our daily life, seeks to remove what is mortal within us. Let that idea sink in. The master seeks to remove what is mortal within us. There have been many times when challenges arose and I just threw my spiritual training out the window. Have you ever done that? All this practice, all this study in the home sanctum, as soon as things get hard, it's like it just flies out the window. I reacted from my fears, from my ingrained patterns. I missed an opportunity to make a creative decision, an opportunity to create myself in a new way, to act in a way that aligns with my ideal, to integrate my ideal into my daily life, one decision, one action at a time, until I and my ideal are one. Until I and my ideal are one. Please prepare yourself for a period of meditation. Please take your seat and make sure that you're able to sit erect. We want the spine straight but not rigid. We want our knees at a 90-degree angle. And we can let the tension out of our shoulders and our stomach. And we can let our palms rest face down onto our thighs. And we can close our eyes now and turn our attention within ourselves. Let's take some soothing, neutral breaths, breathing into the lower stomach, letting it fully expand, and then exhaling out, full exhalation. And let's breathe in and out. As I breathe in, I'm calming my mind. As I breathe out, I'm calming my body. Deeply relax your body. It carries so much tension throughout the day. And relax your mind. We'll leave all our worries at the door, all those thoughts. And we're going to discover our creative potential, that imaginative capacity of the mind. So please intone with me the vowel sound Om. We're going to intone it several times. And while we're intoning it, please place your attention on your pineal gland in the back, middle of your head, between your ears. Just rest there. And let's breathe in. Om. And rest in this space. Let's inhale. Om. And let go. Breathe in. Om. Relax. Breathe in. Om. Relax and breathe in. Om. Breathe in. Om. And breathe in. Om. And now let go into a feeling of vastness, spaciousness within the body, within the mind. Rest here and remain alert, aware. So here in this space, where is your mind? Contemplate this. Where is your mind? Where is this creative potential? Is it in your foot, your hand, your ear? Is your mind a ball of energy behind your eyes? Is it spread out through the body? Is it in the space around you? Does the mind have a location? Does the mind have a shape, a form? Where is your mind? So I'd like for you to imagine with me a large semi-truck, a massive truck with the engine on, it's roaring. I want you to see it vividly, touch it, feel the vibrations, smell it. Where is this truck? Where is this image? Here in this vast space, this vast emptiness, we find that it's not so empty at all, that it's full, it's bubbling with life, bubbling with creativity and potential. This nothingness is fertile. Thoughts just arise, don't they? Watch your thoughts arise. How do they come? They just appear, and if we leave them alone, they just dissolve back into this space. If we focus on a thought and give it our energy, it will turn into a dream. If you imagine a beautiful rose, a beautiful red rose right now, put your attention on it, give it your energy, and let a dream unfold. It just arises from this ground, full of sensory imagination. And then if we let these dreams go on long enough, if we're engaged in them, they'll begin to stir our emotional energies. We do this in the day. We imagine things all the time, especially our anxieties, our worries. They come alive in our mind. In this fertile ground of the imagination, they come alive and they evoke all kinds of emotions within us. And these emotional energies change our biochemistry. They dump hormones and neurotransmitters into the body. And this affects our body over time. It affects our health. And it affects our speech. It affects our action in the world and it affects others. This flow, this is the creative process. This flow of energy from the most subtle to the most dense, from nothing to thought to dream to emotion to chemical release to physical embodiment. This is the realm of our soul, the psyche. The ancient Greeks considered the psyche the totality of our subjective experience, our awareness, our thoughts, our feelings, our memories, our dreams. You are this, and your body is the densest part of your soul, and it will be left behind after transition. But this body gives us a stable and limiting home to evolve our consciousness, but it's not ultimately what we are. This beautiful flow from the most subtle to the most dense, His creation. Now that we know this is why it's important to watch our thoughts, words, and actions. It begins here, in the power of your creative mind. Let's take a deep inhale and slowly open our eyes and come back. Stretch if you need to. Move around. This is an illustration I've made to describe the mind according to the Rosicrucian teachings. Our ability to set and achieve goals is critical, not only to the mastery of life, but to our success as practitioners. We need to train and understand our minds. We live in a culture that promotes materialism, or in more contemporary terms, physicalism. That is, that everything is physical, that the mind is not fundamental to reality, that the mind is just an epiphenomenon, a mirage arising from the material world. This perspective is subtly interwoven into most of modern life, and this is counter-initiatic perspective. Consciousness, the mind, is fundamental to reality, and all that is arises from the ground of the cosmic mind. The physical reality is a densification of the cosmic mind. The more you can shift into that perspective, the more experience you have with it, the greater the changes in your daily life, because it is fundamental. It's a fundamental idea that your microcosm is built upon, the way you filter and see reality, the way you make decisions and decide what's ethical. Here we can see that the mind exists within a sea of cosmic consciousness. That's the ground, vast and empty, spacious, cosmic consciousness. And here is our microcosm, the circle in the center, and it's divided in two. Above we have the conscious mind, which is split in half between objective and subjective sensing. Our conscious mind can be focused outward onto the situation in front of us through our senses of sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell, receiving those inputs from outside, or it can be focused inwardly, just like our meditation now, on the subjective, on the internal experience, on thoughts and emotions, imaginations, dreams. That's the conscious mind. But then there is a liminal threshold of the vast subconscious. Subconscious regulates our body, keeps it in a state of dynamic balance called homeostasis, adjusting our hormones. Uh, it influences our dreams, all of our psychic and intuitive experiences there, and it contains our creativity. Our creativity is there below that liminal threshold. And you can feel the things bubbling up, trying to cross that threshold into our daily life. Our thoughts just arise from it. They bubble across intuitions, dreams, just bubbling up, and our complexes. They want to take form, they want to come out into existence, but we decide through our will what we want to be, what we want to embody, what we want to give energy to. Everything we think, say, and do, all these images and ideas we consume throughout the day are fed into our subconscious mind. All of these daily actions, and most importantly, the ones we repetitively do with emotional energy, become ingrained into the subconscious as habits and attitudes that naturally arise without any conscious effort. That's karma. It's habits. It's the things we've built into our mind. They become what we repetitively do. Now, this can be very useful. We don't want to actively have to do everything. We drive, we cook, we have these things that are routines, but some of our habits are no longer helpful. And we can use our will and our creative abilities to create a new way forward. Through introspection, right? Through our introspection, we can take a daily inventory of our thoughts, our speech, and our actions, and we can identify the patterns that are harming us and others, and we can consciously transform them one at a time towards our ideal. One at a time, make it manageable. One at a time, taking them on. And doing this before we go to bed so that we're not planting these habit seeds, these karmic seeds, while we sleep. Identifying what we want to continue and what we don't want to continue, and making the change ourselves. So when we're awake, our mind is like this triangle on the left. We're in a brain frequency of 12 to 30 hertz, beta waves, and our objective and subjective, those aspects of our conscious mind, are active. They're the ones in charge. And our subconscious is passive. Now, if we look at our mind when we're asleep over here, to the right, we can see the subconscious is on top, it's active, and the subjective and objective are passive. And our creativity is in that theta wave state between 4 and 8 hertz. So if we want to bring the powerful creativity of the subconscious mind into our life, we're going to have to cultivate an inner silence and awareness, and also a state of relaxation so that we're not overwhelmed by our objective senses and we're not overwhelmed by what's going on internally, the emotions and thoughts. We're able to calm our minds and relax while still remaining awake and alert, and allowing those subconscious energies, those creative energies, to come in as we need them. We have to train our minds to be able to do this, to be able to work with our thoughts and emotions, to remain in a state of balance and to remain calm, and instead of reacting, in that moment between the event and our response, we pause in silence, and there is our freedom. There is that moment of creative decision, the moment to craft ourselves in a new way, to do something new, to bring in our ideal one action at a time, is right there in that little gap before we respond. That's our freedom. We have to cultivate that space. Another beautiful painting by Henry Osawa Tanner, The Annunciation. What is your spiritual ideal? We have to actually think about these things. What are the 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 soul qualities, the virtues that I want to cultivate? Discernment, a very sharp and discerning mind, mental independence and responsibility, being able to think for myself, truthfulness, being able to be honest, being unselfish, being generous, being devoted to the great work, devoted to spiritual practice, having energy, awakeness, and courage, being obedient to the divine laws, and silence, beautiful inner silence. Think about the qualities that you want to cultivate and make this ideal something real and tangible that you can work with. How do you want to craft yourself? How do you want to create yourself? How do you want to impact others through your day, through your daily actions? What do you want to leave here for future generations? We can imagine this ideal as a brilliant being of light before us, just like in this painting. There's a true rose quark before us. And we can invite our spiritual ideal, this beautiful being, with all these qualities that we seek to develop, We can bring it into our body. We can bring it into our heart. We can bring it into our mind to teach us. We can imagine the circumstances that we're struggling with. You could do that one now. Just pick one from the day and imagine yourself as the Rose Qua in this situation. And just relax and allow that divine consciousness to show you a new way of being and acting. What is it trying to show you, this situation in my life? What is it trying to teach me? What is it trying to reveal to me? And please come into my life, this beautiful ideal, and guide me, be with me at every moment. Cleanse my thoughts, cleanse my words, cleanse my actions, so that I can be beautiful and that I can bring beauty into this world. Whatever you're struggling with, it's your health, your financial security, whatever these challenges that life is presenting you, come into this space and invoke this higher intelligence. And come into your creative potential, this state of vastness, of openness, and see what it brings you. If you're struggling with relationships, imagine harmony, that end you seek, and feel it, embody it, and know how this end is going to benefit you and others. Really live that end you're seeking, feel it. And always, always make sure it's beneficial for you and others. And we can carry this ideal in our hearts throughout the day, and we can allow it to bless whatever we do. We can use our creativity to turn anything into a blessing. When I eat, imagine that ideal and sending out an energetic share of your food to everyone who's hungry today. When you head off to work, instead of being frustrated, bring up that ideal and imagine sending out work to all those who are jobless. May they receive work. When you have a beautiful moment of peace, send it out to all those who are suffering. Share it. Every action you do, no matter how mundane it is, bless it. May my washing the dishes benefit myself and all beings. Why can't that be practice? Why can't that be a blessing? Taking out the trash, walking down the street, speaking with others, the normal daily occurrences at work, why not? Turn into a blessing. May my work today benefit myself and all beings. Everything you do can be transformed through your creative powers into a blessing, into something beautiful that you can give to the world. Instead of focusing on what we want to take, we can focus on, what do I bring? What am I bringing into this reality? What do I have to give? Another beautiful classic by William Blake, The Ancient of Days. Remember, in the end, we must leave everything behind. The car, the house, the money. All we take with us is this consciousness that we've developed and our character. When we contemplate the circumstances of our life from the perspective of the soul that incarnated, how was this life? These moments of the day, how am I using them to develop my consciousness and my character? That's our wealth. How am I creating myself? How am I becoming more beautiful within? Am I making this world a more beautiful place? What will I have left behind for the future seekers of the greater light? And will they have the same opportunities that I've had? For me, this is positivity. Real positivity isn't putting a blinder on my experience and just focusing on one aspect or refusing to critically think or falling into fantastical thinking. It's knowing that no matter what comes, no matter what life brings to me, I can deal with it. I can trust my mind. I can trust my heart. I can trust the master within. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today and staying with me today. And no matter what your life is presenting you, you have powerful resources available to you. If you understand how your mind works, if you train your mind, and you allow the spiritual practices you're developing every day to come into your daily life, you can transform it towards your ideal. I wish you all the best and peace profound.